out of it. We're on. We're live. Okay, welcome to the 2:48 a.m. news. I am Big Guy, your host of the BIG Early News. So, our first shocking news of the day. Breaking news in the Middle East. A professor named Professor Snotnose? Oh, okay. Professor Snotnose talking about the political development during the Chaldea period. So, what's it like in the Middle East, Lucy?
Thank you, Mr. Big Guy. I'm now in the Middle East with our knowledgeable professor, Dr. Slobber. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
I have some questions for you.
Oh yes, certainly.
Where did the Chaldeans first develop?
Well, I have some notes here. Ancient Chaldea first developed in regions far south of Mesopotamia and north of the Persian Gulf, in what is now present-day Iraq and Kuwait. Important cities of ancient Chaldea were Bit Yakin and many others, but Bit Yakin was the most famous of them all.
Okay, no, don't worry. We're safe. We're safe. Great.
That's why I'll never come back to the Middle East after this interview.
Okay, great. Sorry, what's that next question?
Were the Chaldeans ever attacked?
Yeah. They were attacked all the time by the Assyrians. Yeah, great.
What happened later on?
Oh, well, Merodachum Badalalum of Bit Yakin came king of Babylon several times between 721 and 710, and he was a Chaldean. The Assyrians tried to get rid of him many times. Merodachum Badalalum in 702 attacked the Assyrians. The Assyrian army defeated the armies of the Chaldean king.
Were the Chaldean tribes ever destroyed?
No, in fact, the Nabopolassar of the Chaldea rebelled against the Assyrians and drove them out of Babylon. Nabopolassar then created the Neo-Babylon Empire, which was then called the Chaldean dynasty. Nabopolassar became the king of Neo-Babylon Empire.
When did the Chaldean dynasty end?
The Chaldean dynasty was conquered by the Achaemenid Empire on the 539 BC.
Thank you for your time, Doctor. I hope no more gunshots come here.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you, Mr. Big Guy.
Little rabbit in the woods. So, okay. You want to read it? You want to read? No, okay. So now we're going to Mr. Lucy, who's interviewing Mrs. Cookies, who's going to talk about culture.
The Chaldeans were very smart. Is there any evidence of their existence nowadays?
Actually, we have evidence of their existence in our daily lives. We just don't know it. Great Chaldean astronomers mapped the stars. Mathematicians came up with certain ideas that were later developed by the Greeks, but we still use nowadays. They were the ones that invented the measurement of time we still use. From them came the origins of the basic principles of the Nabatean agriculture, and in their ancient records is the source of the original biblical cosmogonic allegories. Chaldeans are also Christians, and were one of the first people to be converted to their religion by Thomas the Apostle shortly after the death of Christ. Their religion is also something still present in our lives. There are many Chaldean churches, especially in the USA.
Wow! Is there anything they didn't think of?
Oh, actually, there is record of one borrowed cultural aspect, their language. They spoke Aramaic, the language used by the Arameans.
Yeah. Now, Big Guy, back to you in the studio, buddy.
Bunny! Okay, so our next breaking news. We now go to Mr. Lucy interviewing someone in a mental hospital for mass murder. Mr. Lucy, to you now.
What technology did the Chaldeans have?
Well, they had hydraulic pumps.
And what was that for?
They used water from the fields.
And what defenses did they have?
They also had moats to defend themselves.
Stop.
Thank you, Mr. Big Guy. Back to you in the studio, buddy.
Due to the fact that Big Guy is away ill and I have just gone to the toilet, We will now be going to Mr. Lucy in the field. Mr. Lucy?
What did the economy of Chaldean did the whole thing rely upon?
The economy rested upon agriculture, but governments, industries and fine arts were also carried out in the city.
Did they have foreign trade?
Chaldea was involved in foreign trade and exported manufactured goods, while the country had to import metal, wood and stone, materials that the country lacked. In order to govern agriculture, they had to be able to make maps, surveys, plans and do calculations.
Guys, I have bad news. Due to the fact that Mr. Lucy has just been assassinated, we must skip the legacy section of this interview.
What? You don't believe me?
The legacy of the Chaldeans is in the languages we speak. They gave us many advancements in Arabic, to say one. They had good agriculture, including previous said hydraulic pumps, and they were heavily involved in astrology, and we have furthered our knowledge of the stars a great deal.